sitting in the high chair.
Why are you going to be so angry?
I don't. Hi, everybody, TV land. All right, so this portion of our session.
Tech Tuesday is brought to you by Midas, the greatest break. No, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Actually, it's brought to you by Log, from the makers of all things Whammo. All right. Log is actually a thing. All right, so Gmail. All right, actually going to talk about Gmail, and I'm not sure whose account this one actually is.
Oh, you're kidding me. This doesn't come with a USB to the right side cable. It only comes with a same thing on both sides, which means I can't use this in my car. Sorry, I've distracted you from...
Actually, you can, as an extension cord to that little tiny thing in your car.
Oh, I could use that thing over there.
Yeah, oh, I just saved you on something.
Wait, no, I can't use that. Because that is a regular... Oh, I gotta get a USB to USB. It's very confusing. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Fill our heads,
All right.
Dan.
Well, unfortunately, I was going to print something off, but then trying to remember where exactly I am at.
Oh, you didn't bring your guide that you wrote up?
Yeah, I know.
Did you share it? You want to print it?
Yeah, I put it in the same spot as the other one. Well, I told you it's in that shared document one inside the actual...
You thought I was listening.
It's in the team folder.
Team Drive on Google certification right there.
Yeah.
Have we shared that with anybody?
Probably not.
We have not.
I most likely don't even have the authority to do it.
I hope we haven't, because if you read how you spelled understanding in understanding Gmail, you would not be happy.
Well, there you go. Is it understooding?
User standing. There's no D. There's user standing.
Well, far be it for me to make a mistake, actually, while we're doing this, to open myself up to your barbs and quibs.
I
don't think I'd have to stand in line very long to find a different job.
Okay, moving your stuff, because I'm supposed to be on the laptop over here. That was our agreement, wasn't it?
Don't eat my crackers. They have anthrax.
Okay. Matt, see, we're 3 minutes late now. It's your fault.
Nobody's watching. Seriously, the middle school's in a meeting. All right, so we got most of the page. Let's see, generally speaking. All right, going off into settings. All right. This is where we're going to actually spend a good portion of the time talking about different things in the class or in this particular session. Although Mr. Poole has, since it's a projected view, it's super large. I take it out a little bit. So what you're actually looking for right off the bat is how is the actual email displayed. It's English. You can change it if you wanted to. There's all the other different languages that everybody else knows. All right, phone number, set up for United States, maximum size. This is one that actually is how the conversation page is actually displayed. It defaults at 50. You can put it at whatever you want to. I don't know why you would want to have it much larger than that. And if you go much smaller, like if you get a lot of emails, then you have like multiple pages that actually show up. And if you do some of the things that we're actually talking about here today, like strangling something. Now here is one that's actually a good one to look into to set. Is you have a cancellation period when you send an email that you can actually go 5, 10, 20, or 30 seconds on the delay.
That's one of the things that people ask me about all the time. Is if there's a way to unsend, and the default being 5 seconds, most people don't even notice. 30 seconds doesn't affect anything other than if somebody's like waiting, oh no, they have to wait another 30 seconds. I would set it at 30 seconds. You still can hit send and close the page. It has to get an unsend signal in 30 seconds for it to matter, right? So.
And when you do that, if you look down, it'll say that it's queued. All right. If you actually look in your sent, if you look fast enough, or you have your sent one open, it'll say queued, which is British for it's standing in line. And within 30 seconds, it's gone. Default, now on here, your reply, you can either set it as a default to just reply straight to that person or reply all.
I would set reply.
Yeah.
As your default, so you don't accidentally ever do the opposite.
Right, because reply all, really for the most part just annoys people. Because when someone actually makes like one statement to a group and then someone replies to all, and they start getting personal on it, you know, you get, it's kind of like having those text messages you get, particularly from Apple product ones that will bounce back and hit multiple times and keeps running, so you end up having to actually mute a conversation, which you can actually do on this as well. You know, you can actually mute a conversation if something particular is annoying you. Always display external images or ask before. This is basically just if you actually have images that are coming in, whether the thing actually pops up right away or it asks you. I don't think that there's anything wrong with just leaving it the way that it is. Auto advance, as you can see here. After archiving or deleting or muting, all right, what happens to the conversation? It goes to the oldest of the newest one or the oldest one, and the pile up like that. I think most people are actually fine with the older. It's one that I think most people are actually accustomed to. Smart response, or smart compose, excuse me. This one, sorry, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Writing suggestions are on. This one's actually kind of neat. If you haven't actually used it yet, go ahead, click on it. It does pretty good because what it's doing is actually looking at what things you normally say, and it will throw those up in there. And if you just hit tab or enter, it'll throw the rest of those words on for you. So if you're one of those people that just repeat yourself an awful lot, you just got, you know, it's a lot easier to actually email people today. This one, default text styles, all right? Some of you I've already seen from emails I've received, you already know about these ones, and about making changes, different particular styles. You are limited on some of these. Of course, you can actually probably use other ones as well. You know, I would just steer away from getting to anything too weird, all right? And of course, you can always come back up here and remove the formatting if you actually put it in there and you've seen your own email somewhere else and realize that doesn't look good, you know. Because going through and trying to figure out what the original one is when you just hit that's a really nice time saver. Conversation view. This basically is the way the things actually stack up. So when you're actually out inside the inbox, all right, whether you actually have a conversation view, which actually keeps the latest one stacked up underneath it as it goes along. Nudges. Now the nudges on here.
Those are new.
Yeah.
That
gives you a reminder. Now this one's actually pretty sweet. Is if you actually have these ones turned on, all right, and you select to use them, you can actually have an email that you've previously looked at come back to you, just to remind you. Oh wait, I know I got to do this, but I'm kind of busy right now. I need a reminder. So instead of actually making a reminder, all right, like going over here and setting a task or something, all right, you can actually use the nudge, and it just comes back again on you a little bit later. And you can actually set the times on those ones as well. Hover action. Enable hover action is quickly gain access to archive, delete, and so forth. These ones are actually pretty nice. When you actually hover over certain items in it, it's just a little bit quicker way of getting your stuff. Are you sending me a message or something?
No, my phone was, I thought it was finished.
And sending to archive, all right. Show send to archive button in your reply, all right, or hide the one. I don't know, Brian, have you ever actually paid much attention to this?
I like the show send and archive button. I use it all the time. Basically, if I'm responding to someone and the conversation is done as far as I'm concerned, I don't want it in my inbox anymore. So I use the send and archive on 90% of my emails. When I reply, that's what I hit, and then it's gone from my inbox as well. Because otherwise, you send it, and it's the incoming mail that you just replied to is still in your inbox, and it looks like you haven't handled it, right?
Oh yeah, I
like showing the send and archive button, and that's what I use for almost every one of my emails.
Yeah.
I just keep everything in my inbox. I never delete anything.
Really? Your inbox is, wow. Now, I
So
So
archive
we're going to get
everything.
to how to solve that psychosis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
Hopefully.
be good.
Because like my inbox, if you look at my inbox, well, let's see, it is empty unless there's something that I haven't read since. So these are all emails that just came in since I just cleared them an hour ago. But as soon as I've read them, there's nothing in my inbox when I'm done. They're all filed in my labels, unless they
So-
were important.
So
And
there's
I star. We're going to talk about starring in a minute. I star the things that have actions to follow on, because other than that, it shouldn't be in my inbox anymore because I've already read it. Because my wife's inbox 3,000 messages.
I have 17,000.
Okay, and how do you manage that? I mean, you're never going to go through 17,000 like this, right? It doesn't load that fast. You want to use labels
That's right.
to do that, and that's where we're going to talk about that in a
So
minute.
you're in a good place today.
He's
I
okay. So
So when he's talking about what Brian, you're saying about putting labels on stuff, down here, these stars are actually things that you can attach to them. They're not actually labels, but they can function like a label.
okay, so to me, stars are things to do that I've already read. And if you've starred before, well, you can see there's only one star that by
Yeah.
default is there, but it has all these other stars that you can use as well. And you can't say what they mean, but to me, I know. I mean, I use certain ones of these. Like this is normal star. This is I have an action to take on it. This is extremely important. This is more than extremely important. So I have 5 different stars that I use that I click on. So they stay in my starred section of my mail, and I don't use them all. And there's one with a question mark, like I need to follow up and get back to them on that kind of thing. So you can drag what stars you want, and what Dan just dragged a bunch up there. See how it says in use? That's the order that they'll appear. So you click to star something, it'll be yellow. You click again, and now it's blue. You click again, as far as what he's got there. Now it's purple. Now it's green. So I only have one color of star, but then I have the exclamation point, the check mark, the question mark.
Yeah, and you could have all. You could have all of them if you want. You could have one of them if you want.
The default is 1,
I mean,
but that gives
apparently you can have none.
Yeah,
I've never done that before. I just thought I'd try it.
But I have the stars that I want to drug up there in the order that I want, with a regular star first. Just hey, come back to this later. But then an action, a follow up kind of star, and then everything else is out of my inbox.
And you only use that in the inbox, the stars and stuff?
Yeah, but actually they're on my inbox too. They're in the starred portion, and we're gonna.
So
get there.
when I come out of this particular, well, actually,
That's alright, you can keep going on. We'll get
well,
to it later.
yeah, actually, I'll hit save here in a minute and go back up there so you can actually see them. Keyboard shortcuts. All right, right now they're actually turned off. They can be turned on. There is a slew of those. All right, that you can actually do for as far as depending on what you're using. I'd have to say that when I looked at them myself personally, I think they're more conducive to a Chromebook. So you can like that. Some of the other things, like everything in Google, it's kind of redundant as
Yeah,
far
and
as
you
where
literally
the
could
ones.
Google all the keyboard shortcuts. I don't have them on either.
Yeah.
But when we went to the class, she was like, "Oh, you could use this and this and this." But they're either all on or they're all off, and it's one of those things. I use shortcuts. I just don't use them for mail because I guess I'm afraid I'll accidentally send something that I'm not ready to
Yeah,
send.
and that's the thing. If on yours, when you're in here, inside settings, all right, under general, if you come down here and click on this, it will give you all the ones that you could be interested in, and there are different levels of ones depending on what certain interactions you want. As far as like one is, I'm trying to think, is there's Control I goes to the inbox. That's one of them. So control this, control that, because of course it's Google, so it's using control and everything. But if you're a Mac listener out there, then that would be the command button. And those little characters as well. Let's see. Button labels for icons. All right, icons. Of course you want that. You can turn it to text. What this is talking about is the buttons across the top that you can interact with each particular email, whether you want them to actually be icons or you want them to actually be words up there. Chances are, if you're like Pool and me, you want just the little tiny ones because you know what they are. And you're just going to hover over them anyways. Select a picture. As you can see over here, we have no picture. All right, so if you actually wanted a little picture to show up in here, this is where you click on and actually add it. Of course, it'll once you do this, you'll learn about it. It talks about the size, resizing it, clipping it, and trimming it and everything. Get it right where you want to. This is a good one here, and a lot of people have actually already gone in to use this one, is to make an actual signature. So you can click on this and type anything you want to inside here. You can also add images in it. So like when you qualify for one of Brian's badges for becoming a leveled up Moodler, you can actually attach that on there and say, hey, look at me.
And I honestly think everybody should have a signature on there that goes with all of them, because how else, I mean, obviously you don't want to type that on every single email,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they should know, you're the ag teacher from National Trail, and maybe your phone at work if you want them to. I don't say that you should, everybody should have a phone number, but yeah, certification badges, that's a big thing today.
Also gives you a chance to kind of strut a little bit, like, hey, look what I do.
I would
it's
say
your business card.
I would
really.
say there is a limit to what you should put. There are some people that put 12 lines on their signature. Their signature is actually longer than their email. That probably is a little.
I just have my name, address, phone number, and title.
Yeah, of course you could put a quote if there's something that really speaks to you out there. I would of course restrain also from actually putting like, hey, what up with the Klingons, something like that. But other weird things. Personal. These ones down here you really don't mess with as much. All right, the vacation one, of course.
use every summer, so that people know that.
If you are a 240, 260 day employee, here's a really good one to use.
Well, the
if
thing
you
is-
were a 183, if you're going to be gone for like a day, no, I wouldn't do it.
But I mean, if I'm a teacher that doesn't check my work email in the summer, then I should have a vacation responder on so people know
Yeah,
that I'm
that's
not
actually
ignoring
good.
them.
Because you are at vacation.
Well, even if your thing is, on summer break, reminder only check once a week during the summertime or something.
I put it on for when I'm at FFA camp, because if parents email me or someone emails me while I'm gone that week, I don't get cell service there,
Yeah.
and I don't have a computer there, so that way they know why I'm not responding.
And it right there, it says only send to people on my contact list or only for people from National Trail. So I don't know you need to respond to people from National Trail that they know where you are.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Well, and that's the thing. If they're not people in your contact list, yeah, that might be a good thing. But if you do actually do a lot of outside source stuff, such as VOAG does, or if you have other contacts in the business community that interact with your particular class, you may want to leave that off. All right, but that's also going to give responses to, people that are basically trying to sell you on just about anything. So we actually like this one so far. We're just going to hit save. All right. And what was it? Oh,
you turn on the vacation,
Sorry.
turn that back off.
there.
Turn vacation responder off. Yeah, there you go. You're just clicking there.
There we go.
Okay, so while we're here, this is the I know you're probably going to go there next, Jeff. Or Jeff.
Yeah,
Dan.
Steve.
But this is the default inbox, and this is what leads to, gonna say, a messy inbox. And so the next thing we're gonna, I'm hoping, Dan, you're gonna go to the different inbox setups next. Before we talk about labels,
Yeah. Okay.
let's talk about the inbox setups. For instance, this is my inbox. All I have, it shows the top 5 starred things, and I can go and click to show stars of everything else. But unless something just came in unread, there's nothing in my inbox because everything's going in folders. So the default inbox that Dan's at right now is the one where just everything is there and there's no separation or easy way to look at it.
Yeah, there's no filtering going on between whatever's actually coming in, and this is the when you start using what's coming up next, you're gonna realize how much this one sucks. because this one is like everything junk mail and all that, and it comes in as it comes in the time order that it actually comes in. So it's whatever it is, if it's the first one there, that's what it's up in your face. Now you can actually go through this and go important first, which those are the ones that you've always checked in the past as important.
And if you never read something for somebody, they're automatically unimportant. Okay?
That's
Unless
what
they're in
Google says, not
Yeah.
that they are in the real world.
But I like that though. I mean, it always says that people from your organization, I think, are important. But it doesn't do that either. Okay, so it just says it keeps track of the people you read emails from, and it assumes that that is important email to you because you read them all the time. If you just archive somebody all the time or skip past their emails, it's not going to be up and important. So,
and the important thing actually, I believe, also looks at to what the topic is or the subject is that's coming in. So if somebody keeps sending you emails about some activity, and you're just like, nah, I automatically, I file it away every time. When it comes back up, it's always going to be unimportant. Now, if it's something that they keep coming back to you with, it's something that you open up and you look at every single time, then it's going to be important, and it will come up in a different location. Because I have some people that send me different ones, and depending on what they're sending, Google's deciding whether they're important or not.
so what we're recommending is that you actually go to priority inbox. And so watch, as soon as you hit priority inbox, you hit those inbox sections that show up.
And this is settings here.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
under settings and inbox, if
It's
you
a
set it to
third one,
priority inbox, now you can set up how you want to look at things. And this is exactly the way mine's set up. Mine's set up important and unread first, meaning that the most important things that are unread will be at the top of your inbox. And then mine aren't starred. Mine says all starred. So go to options and see if that. I don't know.
You said all star?
Yeah, mine doesn't say. Mine says all starred. Go to more options under starred. Yeah, click that. Right there. No, starred. Go to starred. Huh, I wonder why mine says all starred. And then my third section that I use is unread.
Your third one is
Third one is unread. So that the difference there being that more priority unread comes below everything else unread, and then is everything else. So it's going to show those 4 sections there in your inbox, and then you can. Mine's set up the same way. I unread items in the first section, and I think that's it. I think that's it for how mine are set up.
Yeah. Now,
So-
the only difference for me is instead of starred in this one here, this one I actually have important. So first one's important and unread, then important. It basically gives me, it's like, okay, I see that I have to pay attention to this later.
And
Not
that's
right
what
now.
I use starting for. Because
Yeah, so
to me, I don't like important. I mean, I have important and read, but that's what Google said was important, not what I said it was important. And I'm going to let it filter it to let me see the unread ones that are important first. But once I've read them, if they're important, they're starred with
Yeah.
one of my stars. If they're not, then
But
they
you
weren't.
can make it. You can make something important
Yeah.
if you want. Yeah, and you can make something.
So go ahead,
unimportant.
show them what happens when you go to the bottom and hit save, and how the inbox just changed. So the other thing is the numbers.
Yeah, all of these.
We didn't change the numbers that show.
Oh yeah, go back.
So yeah, go to options there, Dan, next to all of them, one at a time. So mine, because I want to see them on one screen, I have mine set to 10 items on each one. In fact, okay, so I have important and read to 10. Starred I only have set to 5, because I'll open that if I want to.
Well, what do you have unread? I'm on.
Unread I had set at 10.
All right, that's what I was on.
And then everything else I have set at 10 as well, because it's just, I try to make it so that I can look at stuff on one screen, okay?
So now this is all the stuff that it's saying important that I haven't read yet. Okay. Now I want to show you how I go. Can I show them how I go? Through?
Absolutely.
Let me show you how I go.
Can you tell me those numbers one more time? What did you say, 25? And
So I don't have anything at 25.
Okay.
So I have it 10, 5, 10, 10 is the way I have it. And here's why I have it set the way I do. I do this. This is what. Okay. So I start with everything collapsed.
Okay.
Here's how I read email. Okay, I'm looking at the important unread. I'm going to go through these first and say, it already said they're important, so I'm probably going to read these. So these I'm going to go through and read and do as I read it, okay, is this important enough to star? If it's not, I just read it, it's archived. Is this important enough to star? Nope, I archive it. Is this important to star? Nope, I archive it. I guess I'm reading those. But if this one all of a sudden become one that's important, I'm like, okay, so what level star is this one that I need to follow up on?
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying, okay, maybe this is just a 1 star, a regular, hey, it's important to me. This one's oh, that's nice, they thank me about it. Oh, can't make it that one, can't make it this field trip. So that's kind of how I go through those. But on the other ones, because it didn't even flag those as important. I'm over here and I'm like, okay, all these I'm reading through the subjects, and I can hit this. Oh, I didn't mean that to be open. I can hit this and say, okay, all those subjects are ones that I know those aren't me, and I archive them all at one time. So this is how I go through my unread. I read through the subjects.
So if you archive them and then like down the road you're like,
It
where is
doesn't
it?
throw away anything.
No,
So if I
archive's just
search
a
for
folder.
it in the mail, I'll
It
still be
all
able to-
finds it. And
Okay.
everything I'm going through, I know that I'm going through these in it because there's 1,500 that have never gone through on this account, so there's a ton. But everything that's there always stays in your mail. And in fact, if you come over here to all mail, you can see which ones I've just archived and stuff, but everything is all there always in all mail. So it doesn't need to stay in my inbox. So that's kind of how I do it. And then my start, I can go back and say, okay, yeah, I took care of that, and oh, that one, you know what, I didn't take care of that. I want to elevate that up because I need to make sure I do that. So I can still, that's kind of how I use start, is things I got to do something with. The rest of them, I kind of just go, okay.
Because right now I keep them I mark them as unread if I need to go back, but then the problem is because I
You
didn't
have to
have
filter through all of them.
I have to go through and
Right.
I'll get like 60 emails. I'm like, crap! I got to go through 2 days worth of emails to find the one. So
Yeah. So as I read, sometimes I just read those, and sometimes I go, oh, I got to read that one, and I'll uncheck it, and that's how I clear out my mail. And eventually, there's only 7 important ones left. Eventually, I'm going to get to the point where, okay, I've read through all the important mails. Now I've still got 1,500 unread over here. These are ones that they said were not important by how, this is I'm a teacher that just said Dan was unimportant. On mine, Dan's important because I read all of Dan's emails. So Google gets used to, and I can go and make it important. That's what that mark is.
That's patronizing, but
It's true though. So anyways, I don't know, to me it's easier, and you see how it just moved up there, because now it's
Oh, yeah.
important and unread, just not unread. So, and I guess this goes to show that everything I've read, I've archived, because this is everything else. In other words, not unread, this is the only thing that I didn't archive, which I'm going to go ahead and archive that one so that it's gone. And you can see, even though I archived this one, it doesn't go away because this has nothing to do with archive. The starred stuff always stays in starred, which is how you kind of keep your starred
I
stuff.
didn't know that was archived.
Because I hit the I hit the check button in archive, but it won't go away
Oh, I see.
because
It's
starred. So starred stuff will never go away.
which is kind of like,
Error has occurred. I'm unable to answer.
which is also like if you actually, if you threw something in the trash, it's not actually gone either.
30
It's
days
just-
it will be.
Well,
But I mean, if you trash it, it's still in your inbox, or not in your inbox, but it's still in your thing for 30 days.
Okay.
But the big thing I think that people need to learn on mail, I think that's a huge setup thing, but a lot of my stuff never even goes to my inbox. Like if you just sent me a 470, something about the E-rate Form 70 stuff, it's automatically gonna go into the folder where it belongs, and it's not gonna, I have to go and read it. So,
How do you know it's there though?
so I'll see it, because just see how like the NTMS staff meeting right over there, it says there's 1,099, it's dark, so there's new mails in there. If it was light, like library mail, there's no new mails in there.
Gotcha.
So that folder turns dark as soon as it gets in there.
We'll call it bold.
Bold, okay, yeah, bold. So, all right, is that what you're gonna show us how to set up filters? I'm sorry.
Well, do you user stand?
What?
Oh, that was the word I was using earlier.
Huh?
User stand.
Oh, user stand, gotcha. So
All right.
I think that I never used the inbox the way they showed us how to, and I really, really like using it that way now, because it's way easier for me to go through my mail and figure out what stuff is
All right,
important.
we want to talk about filters, or?
Yeah, I think we should talk about filters.
All right. Brian has a couple filters. Basically, you can work them different ways. You can actually come in here and kind of put one up together from scratch. You can actually put a filter on an email as it comes in. So if you're like, ooh, wait, that's one that I don't want to ever see again, or that's one I do want to see, or when I get it, I want it to do such and such. It's just go in to create a filter, and if you have one in here, it's like whatever it happens to be, I don't know. There you go. I'll put one in for me. And it's like anything that actually comes in from me to this particular individual. Now I can put down all kinds of parameters that say that it has to have to do with this particular subject, or these particular words show up in it, or these ones don't show up in it, or every time that Studebaker actually sends something that has a file in it, all right, or has under here would be attachment, or does not include chat as well, or it's of a particular size. So basically, he's actually typed.
Well,
a lot
let's just
of
make
stuff.
one. Let's just make
Yeah.
one and have it go somewhere.
So-
just let's take off the D Studebaker.
Yes.
Just make it say nationaltrail.us. So this is a filter that's going to say all my school mail that's from somebody at school is going to go in this go with that label, which I think is an important one to do, right? So you have somewhere that goes in. So then you hit search.
I would put plus symbol here,
Do I have to
don't I?
put the @ symbol in it? I'm creating the
I
site we're
don't
going.
think it does. Go ahead and hit search, Dan. So it just found all those. So
Yeah.
what just happened? Where's the?
Well,
go back.
Yeah, it comes out to go searching for him.
Okay, so it did what we wanted to, but we want to make the filter. I don't know why didn't we get to the next end
Because
of the filter.
when I did that, I just put nationaltrail.us and it pulls in one.
So you probably want the
Oh,
national
you know
trail.
what? Hold on a second. I
So-
sent this to myself too.
Let's make a filter that goes to the label. Okay, there we go.
So we do
Oh, we shouldn't hit search. I meant to hit the create filter. Okay, so we're gonna create a filter. And this is where you can do all kinds of stuff when you do that filter. You could literally say, if you've got somebody who nags you all the time, skip the inbox and delete it.
But since it's
Right.
actually at
Yeah, we wouldn't want to do that. So you could go and say, I want all this stuff to have a label put on it. So, and you could say, mark it as important. So you could, this is where, I think I have that set on mine, Dan. Say, make all National Trail email important. And you can do both. So, yeah, so make a new label.
All right.
And just National Trail Mail. Okay, now there's an option there that says nest under, so you could actually make one. You could make one that nests under, important mail or something. I don't know. That's fine the way you got it. I don't think this would want to be nested anyway.
Yeah, because you're probably gonna destroy it.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's not mine. So, but look on the other things that you can do on there. You can say it's all important. So all National Trail stuff, I want to go up the top of my inbox. Which go ahead and click that too, Dan.
Yeah. Sorry.
So it's going to do both things. It's going to say label it there, and it's going to say always make it important. And then when you create that filter, why is it not saying also apply? Why is it not matching the other conversations? It should have. Because you didn't spell national wrong. Right.
Correct.
I was like, there should be a lot from there. Well,
So should that be checked off then? Also apply filter?
I would, because then it's going to put all the old mail into that folder too. If you don't, it's only going to apply to new mail.
So all the emails that people send me from National Trail, the
Since you started
17,000?
working there, those will all be labeled that way as well.
So I can clean up the 17,000 and get them where they're
Right.
supposed to be.
So he's going to mark as important, and also apply to matching conversations. And when he creates this filter, every single email that came from somebody at National Trail should go into that folder, and which should be a bunch.
It's taking a while.
Yeah, and what did it say? 2,000 something were just put in that folder in. So, and you can see they all have that. Do they all have that label? Oh, they're not going to show it because you're already in that label.
Yeah. So, with the last one we were into the inbox.
And things
There,
can have,
there's the label that actually comes along with it.
and you can color that if you want it to be a specific color. When they come in, you can say everything with that label is a orange if you wanted to. So that
The label is the little tag on the left, like
yeah,
library.
and
is the
things
yellow,
can be in
green.
more than one at a time. So you could have one that's called Ag Mail that labels everything that's from CTC,
Mhm.
and have the National Trail one, and it'd be labeled in both places. So it's not a folder. It's a label that's put on it so that it can be easily pulled out again to looked at again. So when he clicks on like a label that the NTLS staff one.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's like, so if I actually went up here to go looking for something on it, I believe this one I could actually do a search actually for a label, couldn't I?
Well, hey, let's make one from Bob Fisher. Let's make a label. Do a label from Bob and put it in a subfolder.
See,
Yeah,
Because-
it's weirder looking at this screen this way.
so it's not going to delete them out of here?
Nope.
But how do I will that ever drop from 17,000?
As soon as you archive them all.
So
So there is a way to archive them all by date. So he's making a filter there. So choose a label, do that, and do an embedded label this time.
Oh, an embedded one?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I gotta find out which ones are actually embedded, right?
No. So say new label.
Oh, you wanted me to create a new label?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's embedded. So make one called, Superintendent Mail or something. Super Mail.
Yeah.
There we go. Good enough. And then nestle that under that. No. Nest that under the one that we just made, the National Trail Mail. So now everything from him is going to be labeled there as well, so that there's a way to find just the ones that came from the district office, for instance. So all his are going to have that. So there's ways to not only those mails are still here. They're still in National Trail Mail, but they're also now there's only 64 mails that have come from Bob, and it's easier to find those mails
Let me see the
from
multiple.
him.
Let me see the multiple labels.
And see how you've got district mail and National Trail Mail, and they're in this mail. So if you went to any of those folders, you would find that mail. So that works out really well for me when I set things up to auto filter. We could also do one on all of them that are older than a certain date and archive them all at once, like what Eric's talking about. So you want to create a filter by date, and I've done it before to clean mine out. Have you ever done that before, Dan?
Well,
Clean them all? Okay, so no, you have to put older than a certain date to do that. So I haven't done it forever. I think it's date.
Oh, no, you do before? No, so from, just take all that out.
Oh, the from one, yeah.
Yeah, type in before, colon, year, month, day. So before, colon,
Sorry, that's a semi.
so put 2018. And you could do this one at a time and do it with a before and after and archive them by year too. But let's just say before 2018/12/31. So we're saying everything that came before this year. And then say create filter. And it says filters creating label in date range before or after or stars as yellow are not recommended as they will never match incoming mail. Yeah, and we don't care. We're not trying to do incoming mail. We're trying to do old mail. So create filter. Okay. Now put archive it. And then apply to matching conversations. Oh, is it going to work?
It says 0,
Did we see? What did we do wrong there?
but it said that it was for 0.
Yeah, so why? Because there's a whole bunch before that.
Well, I don't know how old this account is.
I know it's older than that.
Mine did the same thing, and I have stuff from 2014. Because when I had to remember the Wi-Fi password, I Googled the very first email you sent me. I Googled your name. I searched for your name in my mailbox to find the password.
I'm trying to see what happens when I do that one. Obviously I said something wrong. Filters for font filters applied to incoming mail.
Is there supposed to be a space here?
Filter searches containing label in its date range before or after or stars criteria as yellow star are not recommended as they will never match incoming mail. Just to wish to continue the next step.
That's an interesting
Identity
question.
from. Well, you know what? We can come back to this, Dan, and try to look it up and try to post something. I know that I've done it somehow before. Oh, maybe it was older than. But you can go ahead and go to the next thing you're going to talk about, Dan, when I figure it out. I know there's a way to do it. I'm Googling it right now.
Well, let's see. Over here is where you actually can snooze ones, but this is where if you have something that comes in and you've looked at it, you want to make sure it pops back up again to tell you. If you actually just click on it, it'll give you a time in which you want the message to actually show back up again, kind of a nudge reminder to look at a particular piece of email again, mark something that's unread or deleted. These are the ones that you get from hovering over it. Just like here, you can actually archive something right away without actually looking at it, or you can actually open these ones, all right, and then you actually get other options inside here, which would be to label them from in here or move them to different folders that are available like this. They can also, like Brian said, they're in different areas. Here's the snooze. These are just basically the same ones you had in the previous places to actually, so you can see that you have different areas in which to actually.
Slow down a little bit, Dan. You're going a little fast for me to follow.
Oh. Sorry. I know, but you still have to get your time in.
That's okay if I don't. We can move YouTube to next week.
All right. Another thing is you actually translate a message. So if a message actually comes in, all right, and you can actually change the language on it so that it will translate it for something else. Like so. And this, I don't know exactly how awesome the translator really does work as far But, you know, it's something that if you wanted to actually use, it's an option that's on there. Of course, there's always the button to go back to the original. All right. And did I get everything?
I don't know. You know what I was gonna say? Are all these emails? Look at the inbox in this account, because this. Click everything out. Or I mean, yeah. Are these all to NTLS staff or NTHS staff? Is that why? Because I don't know how they would get that many. I'm just wondering if you could make a rule to.
Yeah, all of these are the NTLS, and this is NTHS staff. So that's what most of these things are. It's actually. Do you want? What do you want to?
You know what they did? They did. Do this one. Do this filter. This is how they're saying they archive them all at one time. So create a filter and make it say label : inbox.
Any spaces or?
Nope. And then continue. And then exactly I said. Why did it not? Well, I didn't read the message. What did it say?
Well, I was actually editing the one from before, so should I just get rid of it and start new?
Yeah, start a new one.
I don't want to get rid of this just so I know it's not.
Yeah. And that's all it takes to delete them too. So.
Yeah. All right.
Yep. Create filter. See if it shows up this time. Okay. Don't hit it. The label is 4 stars criteria will never match it. Just continue on the next step. Say okay. I want to see if it because this is how this article is saying. But it's showing matching conversations, and this saying 0 matching conversations. Go ahead and hit. No, not that. Apply to 0. I don't care if it says 0. And create filter and see it. Oh, you didn't. Hold on. No, you didn't hit skip the inbox. Trying to get them out of the inbox. I don't think it's going to work, but let's see what's happens when we do it. Go back. No, see, they're still in the inbox.
I wonder though, is there's nothing else that they actually have with it, like.
No, it's exactly what it has. Label : inbox on the example. It says have it just archive, skip the inbox and match the conversations, and it'll clear out your inbox. And then after that, you delete it so that you starting with the filters that you're putting in now to Hey, so hey, if you go down to it, is there a way to run it? Hit. No, go to the label. Go to the filter. Back to the setting. No, there isn't. There's no way to say run now or anything like that, is there?
No, because it'll do it as soon as it actually goes. You know, as soon as the thing's actually that apply thing and save is when it actually.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how. So, how do we? What I really want is to make it so that we can like what he wants to do, clear out everything from the inbox right now, archive everything, so that you're starting off fresh with using the filters and stuff as new mail comes in. Because there's a lot of people that think they should delete their mail to clear out the inbox, and really that's what archiving is about. It just takes them out of the inbox.
so that they can use the labels to find stuff instead of finding everything in the inbox. See, it says it's not matching anything. I've never seen today. That's great. That worked.
Well, there's certain ones that actually would go for these are words that are actually used in that are used actually in the spreadsheet thing. So
Will that work? What if you just did from today, like you had? Will that at least show the older messages? Or you already get a from. Just type before colon today. I just want to see if that works. No, that didn't work as a search anyway. What if you put in the address the way it was in that online tip I just found? If you put before colon 2018, what will it do? Maybe it won't work the way the spreadsheet did, but maybe it'll still. Okay, so that works.
I don't think.
Hi, is Brandon still here?
No, he's gone.
Okay. He had told us he was going to bring us an additional cord for that charging station we use.
Cannot use more an additional cord. You can only use 4 things on the charging station. If you plug in 5, it won't charge. Okay, we're. No, I don't know. I'm working on a YouTube show. We'll call you back. Right.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and change it then in this one. Skip it. Now here's the funny thing. I probably should have.
So did it work or not? It didn't work with the. Did it? No, it didn't clear anything out of the inbox.
Okay, but maybe it's actually just going in the wrong place. Not from, as in it's from somebody. All right.
I don't know. I mean, we're basically done with the mail stuff anyways. We're obviously not going to get to YouTube today, but I know I did this to clean out mine, but maybe YouTube has done something to make it so, or I mean YouTube, Gmail has done something to make it so that you can't do it that way anymore. I guess you could just put in the to column, to you.
You could do that.
But
that would actually take,
you know what I mean? If you just say to and put your own email address in there. So put iteacher@nationaltrail.us. And then hit create filter. And skip the inbox and apply matching conversations. And then create automatically filter, and we'll see what if it goes. And doesn't have a number, but it doesn't say 0. So that makes me
No, it's gonna throw it. You wanna do it?
yeah. It didn't lower the number in the inbox at all. Now is that no, didn't lower it at all. And maybe that's because none of these are to iTeacher. They're all to NTHS staff.
Mm-hmm.
Try that one. See, change that filter to NTHS _ staff and see if it clears out the inbox. Not that anybody else would do it that way, but at least.
Staff.
Yeah, _ staff. There you go. What? Why did it just kick you out? That was weird.
Yep.
Did it? Nope, you gotta edit it again. It didn't. Let's see. I don't understand why that didn't. And you said apply to all existing mail, right? You had that check down there.
Yeah.
Maybe it came unchecked. Maybe it came undone.
Bet you.
Because we went back in it so many times that maybe it, yeah, there we
There
go.
it is.
You just dropped to 455. So there's other mails that are different. So if you wanted to archive all your stuff at once, you just put in your mail, and theoretically you should already have one in, hopefully that filters the ones coming from the district staff emails, so you can easily find those and they easily get, labeled like that. I've got one that does NTHS staff and one that does NTLS staff, so I know where all those go. And then just archive all the ones that are to yourself, and because she obviously has none, right? There's no such person. So
Well, what are those other ones that are? What are these ones?
probably NTLS staff thing.
Ah.
So because those are the only two groups that she's part of, so you could make one that does NTLF staff, one that does NTHS staff, or whatever school you're in, and then the inbox is theoretically emptied after that. So is there anything else that we talked about filters and making labels. Are there any add-ons that you use? I don't think there's a lot of add-ons anymore, like there used to be when it was in. What are you doing?
Let's see if I can't archive everything. No. What?
Let's see. Go to.
Yeah, buddy, I just did it.
Would you put star?
Yep.
Okay, so you need to delete that one so that.
Well,
Well, that's point. I mean, that's good.
But that is what
you-
it is.
So it's star, and then apply to all, and everything will
And
archive
everything will
one
go
time.
to the archive.
Okay, and then you're starting out fresh. So let's go back there and delete that one before.
Yeah, so even if you actually do this yourself, you're going to want to actually turn off the filter once you use it.
Yeah,
Or I shouldn't say turn it off, you should delete it.
and then do the same with the other one. Just skip the inbox. There we go. So I've got filters set up that go to district mail, to the high school mail, and now all those are emptied out. And you can have them archived too. I
This
mean,
is murder on your neck sitting
yeah, it is hard to turn and stuff. Okay, let's go to. We're basically done, Dan. But let's go to the settings again.
here. Oh, I didn't know where we were going.
Forwarding and pop, that's only if you want to forward your stuff. You can see that I've got it set up so that I could forward from this account to my account. It's not on right now, But you could do that to your personal account or vice versa, so you don't have to check a bunch of accounts. I like keeping them separate, but you could forward, especially over the summer. You could turn on forwarding from your school account to your personal account, and then turn it back off when school starts again, just so you don't miss anything. If you don't want to check your school email all summer. And then let's see, add-ons. I'm trying to think if there are any add-ons. There's no add-ons that I have anymore. There used to be labs, and I used to have all kinds of stuff with labs, but none of that stuff
Yeah, there's
exists
developer
anymore.
ones and stuff like that, but you got to be careful because sometimes they're not support. Not everything you get as an add-on is completely supported, so it could actually. I'm not going to say that you're going to lose something, but you know it may be difficult to find it.
And I guess the last thing, a lot of people do use themes. I don't use any kind of themes. Eric was just here with me. He had a theme. If you hit that set theme, you can pick other available themes out there to make your email look different. I think it's hard to read personally, but pick one of those, Dan, so they can just see what it looks
That's a
like.
pretty
when
one.
I like that one too. If I was going to pick one, that'd be the one I'd pick on that screen. And then it'd say, now the problem is, it's pretty, but go ahead and go to the inbox. Well, I guess it only goes around the outside deadline, so it's not like it's impossible to read.
The background becomes semi-opaque, so you can if you look close enough, like down here, you can see the surfer guy.
What about when you click on an email?
Hmm?
I don't use them, but click on an email and so it doesn't go through the email, just through the list of emails.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I
So-
guess people feel. They want to feel calm. Like they're,
Well, I'll tell you, if
I'd rather be at the beach.
if it
See?
encourages you to get your inbox to look like this,
there you go. There's a good thing.
Yeah.
Woohoo! You've read all the important messages in your inbox.
on my phone it actually shows somebody like
So
showing
next
their
week we're going to
hands.
do YouTube because there's no way we're going to get through all that. And, I mean, obviously you were talking fast and we didn't even come close to get through. Did
Yeah.
we get through all the things on here?
I don't.
They were on the
I
list.
don't know.
Creating filters, applying stars, applying multiple labels for diverse conversations. We kind of talked about that. Searching email.
Well, we did in a way, but searching emails up through here, but you can type anything in that you actually want to.
And it searches through
Yeah.
all of them, not
Yeah.
just the ones that are in your inbox.
Now,
I think
you
that's
can
why-
just type up here for something, or you can actually go for the arrow and get more specific about it in your searches. Dates and so forth, attachments and chats and so forth. It's pretty basic. I would have to say that it is the exact same filter that you can use in your Drive. You get the same things that you can get really specific on, but that's basically it.
None of my text messages came over. None of them.
Are we off the air?
No. What is it? I thought it was all 0. Yeah.